Welcome to First Star Let's Chat, an athletic therapy podcast. I'm your host, James Gardner, certified athletic therapist, certified strength and conditioning specialist, yoga instructor, human being. This platform, for the pros, by the pros, anybody in the performance space, and beyond. Welcome here to share in the stories of professionals, experiences, journeys, learning along the way. It's a platform to connect, to network, and to be a part of a community that cares, with conversations that matter, experiences that resonate, and generate ideas, thought-provoking, organic dialogue, passionate pros. Brought to you as always by First Star Therapy, Mobility Tape, Epic, and Benchmark Athletics, in association with the Canadian Athletic Therapists Association. It's First Star Let's Chat, an athletic therapy podcast. Thanks for being here. Thank you for being a part of it. All right, welcome back to the recording studio. It's Let's Chat, an athletic therapy podcast, the official podcast of WFAT, and we are in Maynooth still. And it is, I think it's Saturday morning. We have Shane Dalton with us. He's a certified athletic therapist and strength and conditioning coach here in Ireland. He also sits on the executive of RD, the governing body of athletic therapists here in Ireland. Shane, welcome aboard again.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Shane and I had, just for context, had the opportunity to meet a couple of days ago on the golf course. He saw me go left, right, miss a few, hit a few behind me.
And I followed behind you, yeah.
And that's where it all started. Lots of connections here at World Congress.
Absolutely.
And you have an interesting story, being as an athletic therapist here, watching the profession grow, and then now having a daughter in the athletic therapy education system, I guess, here in Ireland. So just sort of track that for us. Where did it start? Where did the interest start in athletic therapy? How did it become almost a job, and where are you at now?
I suppose for me, it started with my father. So he would have been in the 70s and 80s, would have had an interest in sports injuries. His original profession, would you believe, would have been as an electrician. However, he graduated into this kind of world of sports injuries because he was heavily involved in Gaelic sports. And over a period of time, he set on multiple courses and educated himself and had that true passion for sports injuries and athletes. And you got to take this in context. This is before Google or YouTube or any of the tools that are available now. So this was a hard slog. And as a kid growing up, I was surrounded by, whether it be in a dressing room or at the side of a football match, at the kitchen table, somebody getting some form of treatment or some form of taping. Mm-hmm. And over his lifetime, he managed to become iconic in the world of Gaelic football for the man who was known as Strap. So he was known as Trapper, the Strapper. Right? That was his title in Dublin. And most people in the 70s, 80s and 90s would have remembered him because, again, he was quite distinctive. He had he was a cross between a famous Irish singer known as Ronnie Drew, who was a kind of a bearded guy, and Santa Claus. He was slightly a big man, so he was very distinguished. So as I grew up with having that role model, I had a natural interest. I've been sport orientated myself. I played Gaelic football and hurling. I just kind of fell in love with that world. However, from a point of view of an education and athletic therapy, that model didn't exist in the 80s, 90s. And the only opportunity to experience that, which I believe came in the mid-90s under Dr. Noel McCaffrey, Dr. Rob McLaughlin, and lead physiotherapist Miriam Downey. And they set up a course in another college and had this sports first aid rehabilitation course, certified course, which I managed to sit in the 90s. And my father actually had a taping workshop component. That's what he taught, the taping. That's taught the content. However, that course, again, couldn't get enough traction. So I veered down the road of strength and conditioning. However, after finishing strength and conditioning and working in that area, I ended up working again with Dr. Noel McCaffrey, and he had made a suggestion would I consider doing athletic therapy. And at that point, the athletic therapy program was set up, I think, in around 2012, maybe. And a couple of years later, I was a mature student, and I set the ARTI course, or the athletic therapy and training course in DCU. And from there, I've had a practice. I had a gym-based practice, and then we took it into a rehabilitation clinical practice. So now we have a hybrid where we have our clinics in 2 locations, and we have 2 gym facilities attached to the clinic. So that's our business model essentially. We have a couple of therapists that have come through the relevant programs in Ireland. And from there, in actual fact, last year we took a international student, Tori Miller from Lebanon Valley, and she's now working full time for us. Actually,
outstanding.
So that's been a great experience. So that's kind of the role into my world. And from that, I suppose I've been fortunate enough to work with a couple of high level teams and clubs and a bit of international work. So you get to meet incredible professionals.
Right.
And then this week we've had an incredible week with, I think we're over 300 registered attendees for the week, which is incredible. And we've heard some top class speakers and workshops. It's been amazing and really powerful to see. I think there's over 100 students that have travelled to the event, which again is really what we're trying to promote too, isn't it? That kind of that student participation
absolutely
in the journey, because they are the future.
Yeah, the future, and almost a little bit rejuvenating as somebody who's been at it for a while to be around the younger energy of they're entering the world that you've been in for some time now, and hungry for knowledge. Not that everybody else isn't either, but there's a little bit of different energy there.
And again, yesterday we had the pleasure of I've seen the big change in DCU. So the programming, the amount of technology that's now available, the cohort of professors and PhDs that teach the top class content in now a top class facility, again, only promotes their level of education and professionalism. It's just fantastic to see.
Yeah, it's a great story to sort of see. I won't put words in your mouth. It's a great story to see from this side. You worked in it before it was known. Now it's becoming known. Yeah, you can help form that, but you can also see potentially a little bit of growth. There's 4 institutions, I think, now in Ireland that are credentialed to
credentials, for athletic therapy and under RT governance, yes. Yeah. And again, you look at the numbers, the classroom size it's kept quite intimate. It's a kind of a under 35 classroom environment. So that the content and the hands-on, it's top class. You're in the presence of a highly qualified peer, and you can get some amazing hands-on, and you have a go-to person always within 15-20 seconds of you too, if you have a question, or you need an adjustment on something, or you need some hands-on advice. I think that's really special in all the programs that's available. That's one of the key elements, and another huge part for me, which I've seen a massive change in over the years, the input athletic therapists have had, and the recognition they've had in all the sporting environments. There was a day, and it's not that long ago, like in the 2000s, early 2000s, where the athletic therapist or athletic trainer, they were like unknown or unrecognized, and in some cases nearly invisible, or in some cases even like presented as inferior. Where now that has well and truly been resolved or maybe put to bed in certainly in Ireland, where you would have most clubs would have a sense or an awareness of the profession and look for that input.
Yeah, there's a lot of pride in growth, right? And I think that's been one of the themes that we've been able to pull from this event is it's growing. It's not perfect. It's not perfect everywhere. It's not done the same everywhere, but this collaboration of international pieces, presenters, Artie as the host here, it's been really powerful to see sort of where the profession was and how it's grown. Interesting, you talk about Trapper the Strapper and sort of moving from electrician into the sport injury space. AJ Duffy, the president of the NATA, had him on yesterday, and he was talking about athletic trainers now in airfield bases with helicopters and looking at how it's not drastically different to see that there's a problem with I don't know the terminology, but potentially a rotor or something like this, and then you apply that to a shoulder, to a wrist, or to somebody who's working with that rotor. They're no different than a football player, a rugby player. They still function, and so I think athletic therapy can play in lots of different places.
Absolutely. So I suppose over the last probably 5-6 years, I would see within the profession, one, it's recognition from other professions and peers. Like, there's plenty of space, great collaboration, great understanding. And then I've seen where the athletic therapist in Ireland has kind of integrated in chronic illness programs and exercise programs for older populations. I've seen a massive change in school programs. So it's evolving, and it seems to be all quite positive. I think it's something to be really, really proud of. And again, the content on the education. So over the last 10 years, their focus on concussion rehab, kind of really get on top of that to understand it well, gives them a really good edge. And then understanding a little bit more about the importance of those transitions from rehabilitation into conditioning programs, into performance programs, that kind of pathway, and it all evidence based. The DCU program that I've experienced, it's so well tuned and focused in those areas. Like it's evidence based rehabilitation and it's evidence based performance training. So that's
changed. Now you have sort of the academic blending with the application, and I think maybe I'm putting words in your mouth, but you started with the application, and then we're kind of reverse it. So an interesting capture. You have 2 daughters, is that right?
3 daughters,
and you have one that's following in Strapper,
third generation,
third generation. Exactly. And so she's doing it the way that it's currently set up.
Absolutely.
So, how are the interactions at home there with old guy versus the younger snapper coming in?
So my daughter's year 2 in DCU, India, and she's loving it. And again, she's cut off the block, as they say. She has that passion and desire. She loves the space, and again, she comes home with the latest research on stuff, and there's a couple of kitchen table quizzes that generally I lose now. But anyway, and she's actually become a great sounding board for me, because I'm nearly been refreshed and re-educated on some of the new stuff that they're doing at quite an early stage of their career. And again, like the support the technology brings, like the testing equipment and all those cool new toys that can keep you straight and give you some really good sound clinical outcomes are fantastic, and she's going into that world and loving every minute of it. And she was here yesterday. Again, from the student point of view, I think it's been amazing to see so many students, Irish students, international students, make friendships and sit in the likes of the student quiz last night, and I think that's been really powerful. She certainly enjoyed the day.
That's great. No, great. I've been advised by mentors, colleagues, friends, people in my life along the way to try and find mentors. Absolutely need to try and find mentors, and sometimes there's a connotation that needs to be somebody older than you. But one time I had a conversation about finding mentors that are younger than you to influence, your way of thinking, challenge the way that you've done things for a while. You have it in house, which is beautiful.
Yeah. And I've been very, very lucky with the intern programs from the colleges in Ireland and from our US friends that, you can very easily get stuck a little bit in your world. So if you're open to having students in and letting them have the space to express how they see things, you absolutely learn and pick up, and it is 100% healthy and refreshing to do.
Yeah.
So I'm a big fan of our internship programs, I have to say. I really enjoy them.
Yeah, no, I don't want to take up too much of your time. It's another busy day here.
Absolutely.
I'll just leave you with the closeout to our listeners. It's Shane Dalton. He's here in Ireland. He's on the executive with Artie, doing some amazing things, teaching, being taught, all of those things, and being open to this environment, which I think is another piece of what we do as athletic therapists and trainers across the globe. Takeaways from World Congress. I mean, you've done that throughout the course of this conversation, but is there one or two things that stand out to you when you walk out of here at the end of World Congress that will sort of stick or you'll apply immediately?
Yeah, I like. There's been some incredible workshops, which for both students and the academic population here that were, incredibly important to experience. I feel that the future is really, really bright. It's great to see so much energy, so much positivity, so much professionalism applied to athletic therapists and athletic trainers. And you kind of grow in a bit of confidence walking away from an event like this and look forward to its future. And I'd say to like anybody who's considering becoming part of this community, that you're greeted. It's such a positive place to walk into, a positive space to be a part of. It's very easy to make contacts and friends that you can carry into your profession, and I think it's a really special opportunity to have. That's probably my take home, is that I will look forward and feel confident that the profession will grow and conquer as it in the years to come.
Amazing, Captain.
Cheers.
Thank you so much for your time.
Thanks again for being here. Thanks for listening. Thanks for being a part of this community. Check us out online, firststartherapy.com. That's FIRSTAR therapy.com. Or email us with feedback, consult@firststartherapy.com, CONSULT@firststartherapy.com, on Instagram @firststar.therapy, and our podcast host @letschat.at. This is First Star Let's Chat, an athletic therapy podcast.